Let's start with the ones that would just ruin your beach day and work our way up to the creatures that would make you question the entire ocean. Number 10. Xiphactinus. Let's start with something that looks like God sneezed while drawing a barracuda. Xiphactinus was a massive, bony fish that lived roughly 80 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. It grew to around 20 feet long, had enormous fang-like teeth jutting outward from its jaws like nature's own set of steak knives, and could reach swimming speeds of over 37 miles per hour. For context, the fastest Olympic swimmer in history peaked at about 5 miles per hour. Xiphactinus could do 7 times that. The most disturbing fossil ever found of this creature was a nearly complete skeleton, with a 6-foot fish perfectly preserved inside its stomach. The smaller fish was swallowed whole, and it's believed the meal actually killed the predator because the prey was still thrashing so violently inside, which is a genuinely terrible way to go, but also a kind of poetic justice. Number 9. Helicoprion. This one looks like someone dared a marine biologist to draw the most unhinged shark possible, and then nature went ahead and built it. Helicoprion was a shark-like fish that lived around 270 million years ago, before dinosaurs even existed, and its defining feature was a spiral whorl of teeth arranged in a circular buzzsaw pattern inside its lower jaw. For decades, scientists had no idea where on the body this tooth whorl even belonged. Some thought it was on the snout. Others thought it was on the tail. The actual answer, that it sat inside the lower jaw and rotated backward like a circular saw when the mouth closed, somehow managed to be even worse than any of the guesses. The teeth didn't fall out like in modern sharks. Instead, as new teeth grew, they pushed the old ones inward in a permanent spiral, meaning this creature had every tooth it ever grew, all at once, inside its mouth, forever. Scientists believe it used this to shred soft-bodied prey like squid. Totally normal. Nothing to think about before bed. Number 8. Dunkleosteus. Imagine a fish the size of a school bus, covered head to torso in thick, interlocking bone plates, with no actual teeth, just 2 razor-edged bone blades in its jaws that functioned exactly like a pair of scissors. That was Dunkleosteus. It lived 360 million years ago, and at around 33 feet long, it was one of the apex predators of the late Devonian Ocean. The scariest part wasn't the size. It was the bite. Dunkleosteus had one of the most powerful bite forces of any fish ever recorded, capable of generating around 8,000 pounds of force at the tips of its jaws. A great white shark generates about 4,000. Dunkleosteus hit twice that. Studies have also shown it could open and close its jaws in about 1/50th of a second, creating a powerful suction that pulled prey directly into its mouth before anything had a chance to react. At least it was quick about it. Number 7. Mosasaurus. You know the creature at the end of Jurassic World that bursts out of the water and swallows the Indominus Rex whole? That was a Mosasaurus, and for once Hollywood actually undersold it. Mosasaurus was a massive marine reptile that lived during the late Cretaceous period, roughly 66 to 70 million years ago, and grew to lengths of up to 50 feet. It had 2 rows of teeth, one on the outer jaw and a second inner row on the roof of its mouth, specifically designed to grip struggling prey and prevent escape. Think of it like a biological ratchet system. Once you were in, you weren't getting out. Fossils have been found with the remains of sharks, large fish, other marine reptiles, and even other mosasauruses inside them. The apex of the apex, the ocean's final boss before the meteor showed up and canceled the entire game. Number 6. Liopleurodon. Liopleurodon belongs to a group called pliosaurs. Think plesiosaurs, but instead of a long neck and small head, they traded the neck for a skull the size of a car. Living during the Jurassic period around 160 million years ago, it was a compact, powerful 4-flippered killing machine that ambushed prey from below, striking like a crocodile, but in open water from any direction. Its jaws alone stretched to around 10 feet long. Its teeth were conical, thick, and deeply rooted, designed not to cut, but to clamp and crush. Liopleurodon's 4-flipper propulsion system gave it exceptional maneuverability, meaning it could turn, accelerate, and redirect mid-attack in ways that most prey had no counter to. The kind of predator you never saw coming and couldn't outswim once it had decided on you. Number 5. Kronosaurus. The fact that scientists named this animal after Kronos, the Greek titan who devoured his own offspring, suggests they understood the energy this creature was giving off. Kronosaurus was another pliosaur, bigger and heavier than Liopleurodon, with a skull that made up roughly 1/3 of its entire body length. It reached lengths of up to 36 feet, and its teeth were thick, round and conical, designed for crushing bone, not slicing. Fossil evidence shows it didn't just eat fish. It targeted other large marine reptiles, including smaller plesiosaurs. One famous fossil, nicknamed the murder scene, preserved a Kronosaurus with the flippers of a plesiosaur still lodged in its stomach, meaning it had bitten the limbs clean off before swallowing them. Scientists described this in a published paper, very casually, as if that's a normal thing to write. Number 4. Livyatan, Melvillei. Between 9 and 13 million years ago, the ocean was home to two of the most terrifying apex predators to ever exist at the same time. Megalodon, and this, a predatory sperm whale named after the biblical sea monster Livyatan and the author of Moby Dick. The most dramatic naming decision in the history of paleontology, and it was completely earned. Livyatan Melvillei grew to around 57 feet long, similar to a modern sperm whale. But where modern sperm whales hunt squid in deep water, Livyatan was a surface hunter with a 10-foot skull packed with 40 teeth, each measuring up to 14 inches long, the longest functional teeth of any known animal in history. It's believed Livyatan and Megalodon competed directly for the same prey, large baleen whales, meaning there were periods of ocean history where two different house-sized apex predators were actively fighting over the same food in the same waters. The ocean during the Miocene was simply not a place you wanted to be anywhere near. Number 3. Tylosaurus. If Mosasaurus was the apex predator of the Cretaceous ocean, Tylosaurus was what Mosasaurus had nightmares about. The largest member of the mosasaur family, stretching up to 45 feet, Tylosaurus is believed to have been an active, aggressive pursuit predator rather than a slow cruiser. What made it uniquely terrifying wasn't just the size. It was the nose. Tylosaurus had a blunt reinforced snout that scientists believe it used to ram and stun prey before biting down. Imagine being a large marine animal minding your own business and then getting hit by the front of a freight train attached to a 45-foot lizard. Fossil evidence shows Tylosaurus consumed sharks, fish, smaller mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, and even diving birds, making it one of the most ecologically dominant predators in the history of the ocean. It didn't specialize. It just ate whatever was present. Number 2. Basilosaurus. Basilosaurus may be the most unsettling creature on this list, not because of how dangerous it was, but because of what it represents. A whale that looks like it was designed by someone who had only ever heard whales described over the phone. It lived around 40 million years ago, descended from land-dwelling mammals that looked like large dogs, and somewhere along the way decided to return to the ocean and become something deeply wrong. It grew to 65 feet long, but unlike modern whales, which are wide and buoyant, Basilosaurus was long and sinuous, almost serpentine, moving through the water in an eel-like undulation. It still had tiny vestigial hind limbs on its body, small and useless, like nature forgot to delete a feature. Unlike modern whales, Basilosaurus lacked the brain structure for echolocation and complex social behavior, making it essentially a massive, solitary, instinct-driven predator, an enormous eel whale that hunted other whales by sight, and feel alone in an ocean that had very little capable of threatening it. Number 1. Megalodon. Everyone knows Megalodon. The problem is most people don't know it correctly, and the reality is significantly worse than the movie version. Megalodon was a shark that lived from roughly 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Not with the dinosaurs as many assume, but in a world that already looked like ours. Whales existed, dolphins existed, seals existed, and then there was Megalodon, hunting all of them. It reached lengths of up to 65 feet, 3 times the largest great white ever recorded. Its teeth measured over 7 inches, so large that early humans who found them believed they were petrified dragon tongues. Its bite force is estimated at 40,000 pounds, the most powerful bite of any animal ever known to exist. But the most frightening fact isn't the size or the teeth. Megalodon's hunting strategy, based on fossil evidence from whale bones bearing its bite patterns, was to first target the heart and lungs, striking the chest cavity to cause rapid blood loss and collapse. It didn't just bite. It had a method, a systematic, anatomically informed approach to killing animals the size of buses. And the final detail that will follow you into sleep. Megalodon didn't go extinct because something defeated it. It died because its prey, large baleen whales, migrated to colder polar waters that Megalodon's warm water metabolism couldn't sustain. It wasn't beaten. It was simply left behind. The ocean got cold. Megalodon couldn't follow. And somewhere in the transition between the ancient ocean and the modern one, the greatest predator in the history of the sea simply ran out of world.